Hello everyone, a bit of a different beginning to my novels, well, books today. This is a series of meditations from the Book of Ruth, and it's called From Loneliness to Love, Daily Meditations from the Book of Ruth. This is the blurb on the back of the book. This is a series of daily meditations from Ruth, written especially for women. Each day focuses on a section of this incredibly moving story, highlights the main themes arising from the passage, and ends with a prayer to help you grow closer to God. Subjects for meditation and prayer include grief, hope, trust, and love. This is the first meditation. Day 1. Elimelech and his family moved to Moab. Long ago, in the days before Israel had a king, there was a famine in the land. So a man named Elimelech, who belonged to the clan of Ephrath and who lived in Bethlehem in Judah, went with his wife Naomi and their 2 sons, Mahlon and Chilion, to live for a while in the country of Moab. While they were living there, Elimelech died, and Naomi was left alone with her 2 sons, who married Moabite women, Orpah and Ruth. About 10 years later, Mahlon and Chilion also died, and Naomi was left all alone, without husbands or sons. This is the meditation. Sometimes our stories don't have happy endings, and what might have started out as a great adventure turns quickly or slowly to dust and ashes. In the beginning, Naomi must have been delighted to move with her husband to a land where there was no famine, and there was food for the whole family to eat. How relieved she must have been that her 2 sons would no longer go hungry and would instead thrive. She must have felt that things could only get better, and God was indeed now blessing them in all his fullness. However, instead of blessings, Naomi's worst nightmare happens and her husband dies, leaving her alone to care for and support her family in a strange land. It must have been tempting to go back home, but Naomi doesn't do that. She's tougher than she seems. She stays and makes her widow's home in the land her husband brought her to. Not only that, but her 2 sons marry local women, and once again it must have seemed to be another beginning for them all. Perhaps God's blessings have returned to them again. However, there's worse to come. A few short years later, and Naomi's sons are dead. Her family is cut off, and she's truly alone. She must have thought she was cursed, fated by God to have no descendants and no future in any land. Isn't that how God seems to behave towards us sometimes? We've done the best we can, but he's silent, and all our hopes and dreams turn to despair and mourning, no matter what we do. Bad things often happen to God's people. In fact, they happen every day. We live in a society which expects everything to be good and for nothing bad to occur in our lives, but that's not realistic. God never said living in this world would be easy. There will be pain and grief, shock and misery. These things are a given, and we need to face them and give them time to work through our hearts and lives, just as Naomi must have done all those years ago. But although these kind of terrible emotions and experiences are never what we hoped or prayed for, they are also never the ultimate end of the story. There is always something more to come. This is the prayer for this passage. Dear God, help me to wait patiently when you are silent, and to understand that sometimes your presence without your voice is enough for me. Help me to acknowledge my grief and pain before you, and to trust that you will somehow turn all my sorrow into dancing one day. Amen. And finally, here's a verse to memorise. Mahlon and Chilion also died, and Naomi was left all alone, without husband or sons. That's the first meditation from Loneliness to Love. I hope you enjoyed that, and have a good day. Bye.